something very sad about the way that roller coasters are often portrayed in the media is as these huge monstrous machines that will kill any rider who dares step foot on it and are constantly malfunctioning. This is not the case. Despite some incidents occurring on roller coasters are among the safest machines in the world. You're hundreds of times more likely to die on the car ride to an amusement park than to even be injured on a coaster. There are tons of safety mechanisms on the ride that keep you safe, which are what we will be going over today. One of the most common fears on a roller coaster is getting thrown off the ride while you're riding it. Things like this happening are incredibly rare, and that's because 90% of the time it's the rider's fault. Things like the desert storm incident in which a man had to climb out of a moving roller coaster in Arizona only occurred because the man was not of the body type that's able to ride the ride. There are two types of commonly used roller coaster restraints: ratchet and hydraulic restraints. Hydraulic restraints are the most commonly used restraints on modern coasters, and they use two hydraulic cylinders to keep you in. An airplane flap uses one of these hydraulic cylinders, so you definitely can't just push up on the restraint to get it off you. Additionally, hydraulic restraints, and most restraints in general, need an electric current for the restraints to open, so it's impossible for them to open on the ride. Ratchet restraints are older and usually use two ratchets to lock you into the ride. This also has a multi-redundancy system, so I can guarantee you that you will not fall out of one of these. There are some events in which these restraints have failed, so I will go over these right now. There was an incident at Six Flags Darien Lake in which a double amputee veteran was ejected from their signature roller coaster, Superman Ride of Steel. The reason he was ejected is because he was not of the correct body type to ride, since he was missing both his legs. Of course, I sympathized with the family, but at the end of the day, it was his fault. He apparently denied a safety pamphlet from an employee at the park gate. At the end of the day, should you really be riding a 205-foot hypercoaster when you're missing both of your legs? That isn't to say that the ride operators are free of guilt either, since they absolutely should have stopped him from boarding the ride. The next one was quite recent. Desert Storm is a looping roller coaster at Castles and Coasters in Phoenix, Arizona, and thankfully in this one, nobody died. A man who was riding the coaster suddenly realized that his lap bar had failed. In a split-second decision, he crawled off the train and onto the catwalk. This one wasn't very important, but it was recent, so I felt the need to talk about it. This was also caused because he was not of the correct body type to ride. So, again, this is another example of it being the ride operator's faults because they did not stop him from getting out. It is very rare for two roller coaster trains to collide with each other. This is because of block zones, and Altora Ryan says it better than I ever could, so I'll just play.
For those of you who are unfamiliar, a block zone is a section of a ride that only one train may occupy at a time. At the end of a block zone is a method to stop a train from proceeding into the next block if that block is occupied. This is the safety system that prevents roller coaster trains from colliding with each other.
Any roller coaster you ride that has multiple trains has a block zone. These block zones will stop you if it detects a roller coaster train that is valid or running too slow as to prevent the trains from colliding. These block zones won't malfunction unless the ride is being operated improperly or a ride operator manually overrides the block zone. I'll be going over more examples of roller coaster collisions. I'm pretty sure most people have heard of the Smiler incident when a train of 16 guests smashed into another empty train that valied in the middle of the course. A ride operator overrated the system that told them that there was a train on the course because they couldn't see one. Alton Towers is a height limit that does not allow them to build a coaster of a certain height, so they have some unique ways to get around it, such as digging tunnels for the rides like Oblivion and Nemesis. The Smiler is the majority dug into the ground, so it can be difficult to see a train on the course. Thankfully, nobody lost their lives, but 4 were seriously injured in this collision. It is incredibly rare for collisions like this to happen. Often when you see news about a roller coaster crashing, you will usually see small bumps or occurrences while the trains were empty. You shouldn't be afraid of a coaster bumping into another train, because if the operators are properly trained, it's not going to happen. Every roller coaster you ride always receives an inspection before you get on. Worried the roller coaster will derail itself? Train engineers made sure it won't. Worried the structure will collapse while you're riding it? Trust me, it won't. Worried the chain will snap while you're ascending the lift hill? That's incredibly unlikely. But if that does happen, coasters have an anti-rollback system in place. Mechanical faults are very rare. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I won't be having as long of time between uploads as I had recently, but I'll get back on track soon. Make sure you subscribe for more coaster content. Sorry it took me 20 days to get this video out.